So for the bumblebees, we start with a yellow ball of gum paste or fondant. I'm going to use gum paste for the sake of a tutorial just because it hardens up a little bit more quickly so I can get to drawing on the designs faster. So give me one moment and I'm going to roll this into a ball and I'm going to see if I can angle the camera down at what I'm doing here. Okay, so just roll it into a ball. And then I like to give mine a little bit of a teardrop shape or a little pinched bum, just because it's a nice detail. So just pinch the bum, and that's it. Pinch the bum and just kind of pull the little tip up. Okay, so it ends up looking something like this. Okay, and then I flatten the face just a little bit, and this is where you take that piping tip, okay? And the piping tip, you just push in 1, and then you push in 2 for the little eyes, okay? And then you take this edge of the piping tip, and you just push it in, and that gives him the little smile. Okay, so for now, that's all we're gonna do on the bumblebee. Okay, I'll put him right in the front side. Okay, now I'm going to bring the bumblebee back because this is the fun part. This is where you get to give him the details. So I use my gourmet writers for this. I take out pink and black. Those are the only 2 colors you're going to need. And I give the bumblebee 2 little pink cheeks. Okay, there's one. It's really easy to do. Okay, so there's, you can see that, 2 little pink cheeks. And then I take the black one and I just go down his hairline. So we give him like the little Dracula hair or the heart-shaped hairline. And then like that. And I'm actually just gonna do this without you guys being able to see for a second just to make sure that I do a good job and get it symmetrical. And this is the part that's a little bit time consuming because you don't want it to be messy, it has to be quite tidy. Okay, so we start like this. And these markers dry pretty quickly as well. So, you might find that they smudge a little bit, but it's nothing that you can't fix afterwards, after they dry, with just a little bit of water and a paintbrush. Okay, so now you can see I've just done the hairline on, and now I'm just gonna make it a black stripe. And you can also see these markers, it goes on nice and thick, there's no streaks. They're really, really fantastic. They're worth every penny you pay for them. Okay, so we're just gonna draw the stripe down and around. And again, don't worry if you're not so tidy at this, because you can go in after you put the ink down when it's still fresh and remove it. And even if you let the ink dry and it sets for days and days and days, you can still go in and tidy up your line afterwards. So there's nothing permanent about this. It's all very forgiving. Okay, we're almost done the first line. And then, sorry, this takes me a little bit of time. And just try not to put too much pressure on it while you're doing it, otherwise you'll end up with a little flat bumblebee. Okay, so there's the first stripe on. See? Oh, beautiful. Down that side. And then second stripe, you just go a little bit farther back and do the same thing. Down around this side, same thing. And if you're better with the paintbrush, by all means do it. I've also seen a couple people who make bumblebees, not these exact ones, but who make bumblebees for their events. They, instead of drawing the black stripes on, they'll just get a black fondant or dye fondant black and cut little strips and put the strips around the bumblebee instead. I think this looks a little neater, and it's flush to the bumblebee's body, so it doesn't look so bulky. So I still prefer drawing them on. Okay, so we're almost done. This is the most time-consuming part, actually. It's just the stripes on the bumblebee. Okay, so there we go. We got our bumblebee. Oop, that one didn't go all the way down and around the side. Just tuck it into the bottom, but don't worry about going all the way down around the base of the bumblebee, because this part at the bottom will actually get stuck on the top of a cupcake or a cake, so you're not likely to see underneath it. Okay, so there we go. I'm gonna lift the camera up so you can see. Okay, so there's the little bumblebee face. Oop, that was not very helpful. Sorry, I'm new to tutorials and using the camera. Okay, so there's this little stripes all the way around his face, and he looks adorable so far. Okay, and now I'll put the stamen in. Now these are incredibly cheap. These cost about $1, and you can get these at most craft stores. So it's just the little stamen that you would put in a gum paste flower. And I always find that they're a little bit too long coming out of the container, so I just fold it in half and I cut them so that you end up with 2 individual little ones like that. And then just to make it easier getting them into the bumblebee, I usually just take a pin and give them 2 little directional holes to slide into. And you don't need to get these wet or anything to stick to the gum paste. They stick in just fine without anything. Okay, so we got one little antenna in. Let me get the second one in. Now you can also get specialized stamen that are different colors. Okay, so there we go with this little antenna. Push that one in a little bit further. Okay, there you go. And then all you're gonna do to put the wings on the back, you're just gonna do 1 little indent and then 2 little indents. This just makes it easier for the gum paste to stick in that section. And then the gum paste, you're gonna want to make sure it's hard and dry before you put them in, and you can either slot them right into the little slots, or actually I'm going to need a little bit of glue. So glue is just water. That's all I use. I don't have anything special. And where'd my paintbrush go? Oh, there it is. Okay, so just add a little bit of water on the back or onto the wing, and then you just slot those little guys in. Okay, and now those are in. Now you can see bumblebee with the wings. Looks adorable. Alright. Okay, and then the last detail on these little guys is just their eyes. So you just put a little bit of water in the eye sockets. Or if you like the way they look with the little face as is, you can leave it. I seriously thought about just leaving it when I was doing a commission using these little guys, but I ended up vouching for little eyeballs with little black pupils, which at the end was a good decision because they looked pretty cute. Okay, and then you just push those little eyeballs in and then use the end of the paintbrush just to push them in all the way. And I mean, you guys can see today I'm not using any special tools. Everything here is pretty generic. It's just piping tips, and I mean the only specialized thing I have, I guess, are these edible food markers, and I should show you the tip. These are very, very fine. They're absolutely fantastic. And sometimes you'll find if you're drawing on gum paste or fondant that's not really hardened, they'll take a little bit of the sugar onto the tip and you just rinse it off, and they'll work perfectly fine afterwards. So last detail on this little guy are just his black pupils. So So I'm going to turn him around and face myself for a second. Sorry. I'm going to give him his little pupils in his eyes. This one's not taking the black. It might be a little wet on the surface. Okay, and then he's got his little pupils in his eyes. And that is the finished product for the bumblebee.